Is anybody else really tired and a little bit scared? As a person of a certain age, Generation X, this isn't the America that I grew up in. And I sound like an old person for saying that, I'm sure, because that's what old people say. And get off my lawn. But something different is happening here. It's almost like as Americans, we're speaking two different languages. Like we can't understand each other anymore. Facts don't matter.
Okay, all that aside, he is right.
Yeah, they threw a drink up top.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
Arrest. They just tried to hit the car. They're still hitting the car. Whoa! That was loud.
Kimmel lost his job for 4 days, and they said free speech was under attack. Charlie Kirk was killed for exercising free speech, and they said he had it coming. They say we need more civil debate.
That raises a larger question. I mean, we have, and I include myself, we have got to stop demonizing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I think most of that right now in our country's history is coming, from the right, coming from people who want to dominate. They want their point of view.
This guy is flooding the zone. He's dominating the narratives. Facts don't seem to matter. Mm-hmm. And Democrats, frankly, have had a difficult time pushing back. And Democrats feel that, times there's sort of this weakness that dominates our brand and our party. And I think what people appreciate is that we're willing to fight, and not only fight symbolically by having a little bit fun, but fight substantively. We have 41 lawsuits against this son of a bitch.
Writing out slavery from history, that doesn't make it go away.
The proposed legislation would remove the term offender and replace it with justice impacted individual.
Change this, change that. The only thing that you don't want to change is the behavior of criminals.
A couple of months ago in March, a 37-year-old man named Crosetti Brand was released on parole in the state of Illinois. He had been locked up on a charge of home invasion and sentenced to more than a decade in prison. But the state's Prisoner Review Board decided to let him out early with electronic monitoring. And what happened after that was predictable. Just a day after he got out of prison, Chicago police say that Crosetti attacked a pregnant woman and her 11-year-old boy, killing the child and critically injuring his mother. According to court documents, the last time he was on parole, Crosetti had threatened the same woman by text and showed up at her home. But somehow none of Crosetti's criminal history, including his alleged threats, were enough to keep him in prison. And now authorities say that a child is dead as a result. Now, this is obviously clearly a massive failure of the judicial system in Illinois, which particularly post-BLM has focused more on rehabilitation instead of punishment. It's the kind of episode that you'd hope would spur lawmakers in Illinois to pass new laws to rein in their approach of restorative justice, quote unquote, which we have talked about recently. But the Illinois government has opted for a very different response. Instead of doing something to prevent violent criminals from getting out of prison, state lawmakers have decided on a course of action that's ripped straight from a Babylon Bee article. A new bill that was just passed by both houses of the Illinois legislature, and which is expected to be signed by the governor, would modify state law so that the term offender becomes replaced by the term justice impacted individual. Justice impacted individual. The Department of Corrections and a bunch of other government agencies will be required to use that term from now on. So the plan is not to do anything about the criminals who are getting out of prison. It's to use a nicer word to describe these criminals. Don't call them offenders, call them justice-impacted individuals. Now, I had to check several times to make sure this wasn't satire because it is quite literally beyond parody. Actually, if the Babylon Bee had come up with this idea, I wouldn't even find it funny because it would be too on the nose. But this is reality now in Illinois. This is their cutting-edge approach to criminal justice. Watch.
Lawmakers have passed a bill that, if signed into law by Governor Pritzker, will change the term offender in state law to justice-impacted individual.
WGN's Jewel Hillary here to explain. Jewel.
Hi,
Hi, Micah and Ray. So this legislation has passed both the State House and Senate. And to be very clear, the potential language change would only apply to about 1,800 offenders across the state. On Tuesday, Bill 4409 passed in the state Senate 34-20.
The question is, shall House Bill 4409 pass? All those in favor vote aye. Opposed, nay. The voting is open.
The proposed legislation would remove the term offender and replace it with justice-impacted individual for individuals in the state's Adult Redeploy Illinois program, commonly referred to as ARI. According to the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, ARI is an initiative that diverts offenders from prison to programs to help rehabilitate them to success. Republicans say the language change portrays a lack of empathy for victims and lack of concern for public safety.
Change this, change that. The only thing that you don't want to change is the behavior of criminals.
Now, before the fact checkers jump down my throat, I'll emphasize one thing, which is that this rebrand doesn't apply to everyone who commits crimes in the state of Illinois. Instead, this new term applies to men and women in the state's Adult Redeploy Illinois program, or ARI, as you heard. And according to the government of McLean County, Illinois, the ARI program provides for comprehensive daily supervision of dozens of, quote, high-risk adult felons as an alternative to costly penitentiary commitment. So they're not rebranding every criminal as a justice-impacted individual. They're only rebranding some of the high-risk adult felons who otherwise would be in prison. So if you're living in Chicago, hopefully you can rest easy tonight with that distinction in mind.
You know, we have got to stop with the finger pointing and the scapegoating.
If I had to describe my book, 107 Days, in just a few words,
Kamala's dragging the big guy tail. Right before her debate with Trump, Kamala said Joe Biden called her, but it wasn't a pep talk. Shh. Joe said he talked to his brother, who told him Kamala was bad-mouthing him all around town. And the power brokers in Philly were threatening to yank their support. The call rattled her. Quote, I just couldn't understand why he would call me right now and make it all about himself, distracting me with worry about hostile power brokers in the biggest city in the most important swing state. But that's not all. Kamala said it was reckless for Joe to run again, but she's still keeping up the cover-up, pretending Joe just got tired sometimes. Binder's not getting a pass. Kamala has the knives out, too. Quote, they had a huge comms team. They had Corinne Jean-Pierre briefing in the press room every day, but getting anything positive said about my work or any defense against untrue attacks was almost impossible. When Fox News attacked me on everything from my laugh to my tone of my voice to whom I dated in the 20s or claimed I was a DEI hire, the White House rarely pushed back with any of my actual resume. So how's Binder going to defend a DEI hire when she's a DEI hire? Kamala's going to throw all of her friends under the bus just to sell the book. Juicy gossip. That's the only way. Because the press tour so far is uninspiring.
We can have legitimate disagreements, right? I mean, how do you provide quality, affordable health care to everybody? Let's figure that out. How do you deal with what's going to be job loss from AI? Let's get working on that. You know, that's what we should be doing, but we should do it in the truth-based reality that we have to live in. You know, facts and evidence have to matter again.
What the allegations are. So we're seeing reaction online. There's reaction from one MAGA account with 1.3 million followers saying this is exactly what I voted for. Also, Dear James Comey, retribution is coming, TikTok. And then they post sincerely 77 plus million MAGA patriots. How is this different, the way that Donald Trump has influenced or set up his Department of Justice this time around, Carol, compared to the last term?
You know, I'm so glad you asked because I find it absolutely riveting to watch what the allegations are.
Do you stand by your House testimony on March 20th that there was no surveillance of the Trump campaign that you're aware of?
Correct.
You would know about it if there were, is that correct?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
And then we can start having good debates. You know, when I was in the Senate for...
And we need to be more civil. So when we try to engage in civilized debate, they chase us off campus. Now the
We don't care about your get fucking cooked, bitch!
Know why you support a president who contributes to the rhetoric that got your friend Charlie killed. We saw his rally recently. He said, "I hate my enemies." Stephen Miller said similar things. How can you support him when he contributed to what got Charlie killed?
Assumes facts, not evidence. What you said is not true.
70% of political violence is committed by Republicans.
Okay.
Look it up.
That's not
DOJ
true.
just pulled it. The DOJ just pulled it from their website.
And I think it's really important when somebody shows you who they are, you have to believe them. If you don't believe them, if they're telling you who they are, if the left is grabbing us by the scruff of the neck and looking at us in the face with their bloodshot eyes, with their yellow teeth, frothing at the mouth, saying, we are psychotic, murderous radicals. We are a terrorist element, and we are willing to kill because we have lost political power. We have lost our minds. And now we are a militant wing that is willing to use power to kill, our power to kill. And that is going to be the last resort for our political movement. That is, by the way, what all data shows. That is what all available data shows from YouGov. A specific YouGov poll that was just released says that 60% of leftists under the age of 40 believe that a political violence is appropriate in some circumstances. 60%. I mean, you're talking about you're talking about vast swaths of leftists, millions of them.
DOJ just pulled the study from their website because they're delusional.
That's not true because
they just pulled it. Look it up.
Once you pull
DOJ pulled it from their website.
Once you pull the crazies out of there, it is overwhelmingly left-wing violence.
Google it.
We have had
every single person in the audience. Google it right now.
For all the talk over the last couple of days about the FCC and Jimmy Kimmel and free speech, there was a fascinating admission today from Google. Today, they admitted to censoring people under the Biden administration. The big tech giant says it was pressed by the Biden White House to remove content from YouTube that did not, I repeat, did not violate policies. The company now says it was unacceptable and wrong and says it will not use third-party, quote, fact checkers again. It comes as Google announces it will reinstate YouTube channels that were permanently banned for political speech.
You know, this is how we get here. So first of all, let me take on the first part of the premise of your question, that it was President Trump's rhetoric that led to an assassin killing our friend Charlie Kirk. That's a blatant lie. It's a defamatory blaspheme, and it's inappropriate in this setting.
That's not what I said.
We know. Yes, it is.
No, I said he contributed to the political atmosphere. Know why you support a president who contributes to the rhetoric that got your friend Charlie killed. We saw his rally recently. He said, "I hate my enemies." Stephen Miller said similar things. How can you support him?
Well, then you have no point. Then your point is utterly empty. Contributing to the atmosphere. This guy was, no, let's just make clear. This guy was motivated by leftist ideology. We know it from the bullet casings. We know it from the Utah governor. We know it from his own mother. Yes, we do. Let's be really clear on that.
Even if that's true, so then you're saying because, let's say this guy's a leftist, even if that's true, does that make it okay for the sitting president of the United States to incite violence against liberals?
The president of the United States has not accepted violence against liberals. The president of the United States made a joke at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, which was funny and self-deprecating.
I want to reach them and try and lead them into a great way of life in our country. In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent. Charlie's angry. Looking down, he's angry at me now. He wasn't interested in demonizing anyone. He was interested in persuading everyone to the ideas and principles he believed were good, right, and true.
It was on the heels of Erica Kirk saying, she, in an extraordinary moment, forgave her husband's killer.
He
And let me finish. And then President Trump got up and making a joke, playing off of what Erica said. He said, we disagree. I need to do better. Erica's going to try to convince me, but I'm in a different place. And that's completely normal for a politician to be thinking about his political fights. And by the way, Trump has every right to loathe his enemies. They tried to put him in jail for the rest of his life. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to put his family in jail. And they tried to kill him.
Criminal.
Okay, wait. Wait. Okay, now you go.
Thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold selective outrage at its finest. And the selective outrage typically works best when the liberal raging out has a very, very short-term memory. But wait, there's more. So stick with me here, folks, and make sure you watch until the end, because I have another clip that I want to show you that you may not have seen anywhere else yet, and it will blow your mind. Not literally, but you get the idea. I don't want anything bad to happen to your mind. I, much like Charlie Kirk, want to see your mind enlightened, further educated, and fully armed with the knowledge and the truth that shall lead you to a much better life worth living in this country as we build up our army and community of conservative patriots ready to go to war and protect this land, our Constitution, freedoms, and just basic God's honest principles on how to behave and interact with one another in a civilized way that doesn't lead to mass chaos, rage, and destruction. I'm honestly just so tired of all the fighting and all the killing, and all I hope and pray for is peace. And folks, I'm sure you will agree. As conservatives and Republicans, we're already battling the left's weaponization of AI, pumping out fake news, deep fakes, and twisted propaganda to smear our values and flood us with misinformation. But now it's hitting us where it hurts most, our healthcare. Private insurers are already using AI to rubber stamp denials on your care. And get this, starting January 1, 2026, Medicare will test the same cold algorithms to approve or deny procedures for seniors in multiple states. I'm not kidding, folks. I want you all to see this. These are the same algorithms that prevent you, block you from seeing subscriptions that you guys, channels, YouTubers that you know and love, but they're keeping them away from you. Can you honestly tell me that these algorithms have your best interest in mind? We're talking AI deciding if you get that knee surgery or nerve implant, all in the name of saving costs, while docs and patients get buried in red tape. And with the government barreling toward a partial shutdown next week, unless President Trump caves on Democrat demands like Chuck Schumer's ransom of $500 million for NPR and free healthcare handouts to illegal aliens, which means Senator Chuck Schumer's threats could lock up essential services when we need them most. This is no joke, folks. How many of you rely on these essential services? We can't let bureaucrats and AI and the bots control your golden years. That's why I'm urging every one of you on Medicare, call Chapter today for free. No pressure. Help navigating this mess. Their number's 270-467-2426. Real experts, real people when you pick up the phone, not algorithms. People in this country who speak our language. Get your coverage squared away before the chaos hits home. Protect your health, protect the fight, and potentially find savings on average $1,100, but some have saved much, much more. Call now, 270-467-2426. Tell them Kevin sent you. I got to say, guys, though, it's good to catch up like this because there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. There's a lot we need to talk about and discuss. And it feels like we're just kicking back over coffee, perhaps, depending, hashing out the latest madness without all the noise that you have to sift through with the mainstream. And look, folks, I feel like I've been pretty spot on with my takes here recently. A lot of you would agree based on the comments. It's wild how fast things are spiraling out of control. And yeah, that Dallas shooting yesterday hit really, really hard. So I want to unpack it all step by step, like we always do. And just keep it real, no sugarcoating, just the facts and why they matter. Our country's fraying at the edges and ignoring it won't fix a damn thing. Now, first off, that tragedy in Dallas, a sniper holes up on a rooftop, unloads on an ICE facility, kills one detainee outright, and leaves two others fighting for their lives, then eating a himself. The guy, who was 29 years old from Texas, and get this, they found shell casings etched with anti-ICE messages. He turned on himself as cops closed in, but not before turning a routine check-in into a bloodbath. Families waiting outside, kids in the mix, heartbreaking. And this isn't some isolated freak show either. It's the third attack on a Texas ICE spot this year alone. Assaults on agents are up 1,000% since the border crackdown kicked in. Families doxxed, threats pouring in. Secretary Kristi Noem is right when she says that this is targeted hate. And it's on us to call it what it is.
But what can you tell us tonight about him?
Well, we can tell you that he was on an elevated rooftop, that he shot into a building, into a carport area, that he was targeting ICE based on what we've seen as far as evidence so far in this case, and that we have to do all that we can to make sure this never happens again. So unfortunately, we see this kind of violence out on our streets every day. We see people that have been targeting our law enforcement officers across the country, not just in their rhetoric, but also in their actions out on the streets. And some of them appear to be acting independently. We don't know that for certain with this individual yet. We have to let the FBI finish the case, and we'll still continue to work with them to make sure that we do due diligence. But we also know that every day our law enforcement officers out on the street are facing terrorist organizations, cartel members. They're facing very dangerous individuals and networks that are sophisticated, that use technology. And what we're going to do in response, Laura, is that we're going to hire more ICE officers. We're going to go out and hire more law enforcement officers. We're not going to stand for this in the United States. And I'm so incredibly proud of our president, who is furious over the fact that we every day are seeing victims of crime, victims of this kind of a terrorist attack on a facility where people were working, showing up for their jobs, and all they wanted to do was to be able to do that safely and go home to their families at night. So, Laura, we got a lot of work to do in this country, but we're going to make sure that we are a country that obeys the law. We follow the law, and if these politicians don't like it, then go ahead and change it. Quit going out and giving speeches. Go actually do something with your lives and accomplish something, and have a debate over policy rather than just attacking innocent people and people who get up and go do their jobs with honor and dignity and respect.
Now, zoom out to yesterday. And that's where the fuel for the fire starts. Representative Ilhan Omar jumps on a debunked NBC story about ICE supposedly using a 5-year-old autistic girl as bait to snag her dad.
Come on down here, sir.
Don't touch it!
She born here.
Don't touch her!
And also she have a...
If you touch her, you're gonna have problems.
More than welcome to come pick her up.
No,
Is that your
look, that's where I am.
daughter? Come here so I can see those IDs.
Hey, I can give it to the door.
You can do it right here.
No, I can give it to the door. You guys, you scare people. That's what you do. See how you have the kids over there? That's what you're doing with this country. Huh? You put it upside down.
As we are still, of course, reeling from, it wasn't enough that one of the most inspirational voices in our movement was assassinated in broad daylight. Now we have to deal with, of course, the disgusting people, both regular people and those in Congress, just desecrating his memory. And it's just really disgusting. And so you would expect, of course, that we're calling them the shitbag squad. They're at it again. I regret to inform you that the shitbag squad is at it again. And you've got Ilhan Omar, the brother lover, Ilhan Omar, who decided that now would be the time to start spewing out a bunch of hateful, disgusting rhetoric about Charlie Kirk.
I do believe those of you who are interested in rewriting this hateful man's history are full of shit.
Thank you.
Okay. Those of you who are interested in rewriting history on who this hateful man was are full of shit. I don't know. I think you're the one that's full of shit, Ilhan, because you guys have to keep misrepresenting the things that he said to try to paint him as some sort of hateful person. In fact, later on in the show, I'm going to clear up some of this nonsense.
You know, when you have Nancy and Randy saying, you know, we're on it, we're going to impeach her, when they're saying they're going to deport me, knowing full well that you cannot deport an American citizen, what that displays for not just Americans, but folks on an international platform is that our country is being led by idiots. And that is not something that we should be comfortable with as Americans. And that's not something that should make us proud. And so in this moment, I feel great sadness as an American that these are the kind of people that the world gets to see representing us.
So what do you...
Please, sir. She have autism spectrum. Please. Come on. Yes.
We can see your ID. You're gonna have to come out. Bring your ID. We'll check you too.
Okay. I'm gonna give you my ID back. Give me my daughter back.
No, you're going to have to physically come out here.
Okay, that's the way you treat people.
You're such a real man. You know that? You're a real man. I didn't mind a lady too.
Criminal illegal aliens in Chicago yesterday as she called out Illinois Democrats. Listen.
I'm here today because the elected leaders in this state of Illinois.
Secretary Noem is absolutely right. We've been going after the worst of the worst, MS-13 gang members, child abusers, rapists, murderers, and we are lodging detainers in those detention facilities so that when these people are freed, that ICE can grab them and they can be deported. Unfortunately, under J.B. Pritzker's leadership, these murderers, rapists, and otherwise depraved individuals are going free and are being released onto Illinois' streets, and they go on to commit those crimes again. It's a revolving door of justice. If these weren't sanctuary cities, we could just be arresting them and deporting them. I mean, Griff, we talked about just last week out of New Jersey, under Governor Murphy's sanctuary city laws, there's an 11-year-old girl and her mother. They were killed by a criminal illegal alien who was drunk driving. He had not one, but 2 DUIs just this year alone. And if it weren't for these sanctuary city policies, this young woman, this child, and her mother would be alive today. These sanctuary city politicians, whether it be J.B. Pritzker, Governor Murphy, Karen Bass, or Gavin Newsom, they have blood on their hands.
It's just astounding. In that case, Tricia, I talked a lot about that this week because you did have this Mexican national that got a DUI in March, was released, got a DUI in May, was released, and now a mother and her beautiful 11-year-old daughter are dead as a result. And, you know, all of this, coast to coast, you guys, the administration, have sued these sanctuary jurisdictions, simply asking for cooperation with federal immigration law enforcement. Where do you see this heading? Do you think that the J.B. Pritzkers or the Kathy Hochul's or the Phil Murphys, these governors, will finally see the light and see that they need to play their part to keep these communities safer?
Well, as Secretary Noem has said, we're just going to have to flood the zone in these sanctuary cities, whether it be Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City, Denver. We will bring our ICE officers there to make sure that we can get these criminal illegal aliens off of American streets. That's a big part of the reason why we're increasing our recruitment for ICE law enforcement. If you are interested in joining the fight and making America's streets safer, go to join.ice.gov. We're recruiting patriots, $50,000 bonus, student loan forgiveness, and you can help save America. So we really encourage patriots to please join us.
And I understand.
NBC yanked the piece and corrected it. But what happened to Ilhan Omar and her misinformation? She's still out there tweeting it. And, quote, "This is vile and beyond cruel. Abolish ICE," she says, straight up calling for the end of the agency that's keeping communities safe from criminal illegals. And then last night, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, on the soon-to-be shut down Stephen Colbert show, ranting about masked men in unmarked cars and how folks need to push back against ICE's authoritarian tactics. Push back? Push back, you say, Gavin? In a climate where agents are getting attacked, jumped, shot at. Come on, Gavin. That's not leadership. That's lighting matches in a powder keg. These aren't fringe whispers. This is mainstream Democratic rhetoric egging on the radicals who actually pull triggers. The shooters might be the outliers, but they're pulling from the same playbook their elected heroes are writing. And we've seen it before. Words have weight. And right now they're weighing down the coffins. Oh yeah. And Chuck Schumer jumping on the Morning Joe before the dust even settled and says, "I don't know what happened here and I don't know about the guns, but we need better laws on guns." Classic deflection.
Their violence is just terrible. Everybody, right, left, center, I don't care what your politics are, has to speak out strongly against it. But look, I think, and I don't know what's happened here and I don't know about the guns, but we need better laws on guns. I mean, we got something done a few years ago, but it's just rampant. And we have to do more.
And schools,
I'm the author of the Brady Law, the assault weapons ban. It's become almost every day one of these things happen. And we can't just sit there and do nothing.
3 men are under arrest after a shooting at a Katy baseball tournament that left a youth coach wounded.
The shooting happened at RAC Katy over the weekend during a tournament. The Waller County Sheriff's Office said Mahmoud Rababa, Ahmad Mawed, and Mustafa Matalga fired guns from a nearby pasture in the direction of the game. A witness from the scene said one of the coaches took a blow to the shoulder, then immediately went to the ground to cover all nearby kids to keep them safe. He is expected to be okay.
Classic deflection from Chuck Schumer. Blame the tool, not the ideology fueling the hand. I don't know about you guys, but I could sit any one of my rifles on any rooftop and I can assure you it is not going to shoot anyone without appropriate provocation from the squeeze of the trigger. And it's not about Second Amendment tweaks. It's about shutting down the hate speech that's turning ICE into public enemy number one. Do you remember Hillary Clinton lecturing us on civility? Do you remember her husband, Bill Clinton, speaking to Congress on exactly why ICE exists?
Members of this committee, please turn your attention to the video screens.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
We've got to stop demonizing each other. Most of that right now is coming from the right, she says. Stop with the finger pointing and the scapegoating, she says. Pot, meet kettle. She's out here decrying right-wing rhetoric while her party's stars are out abolishing law enforcement and urging pushback. Hypocrisy doesn't even come close to covering it. It's a masterclass in projection. Shifting gears to the youth front, because this woke mind virus is getting worse, folks. It's rotting campuses from the inside. Take Turning Point USA, for example, Charlie Kirk's legacy, rest his soul. Just 2 weeks back, that rooftop sniper in Utah with chilling rhetoric etched on his shell casings. You'd think colleges would rally around free speech. Nope. Some are straight up deleting, canceling, terminating, axing TPUSA chapters, caving to protests and threats instead of facing down the bullies. It's not solving shit. It's surrender. Running from debate just hands the win to the radicals, lets the violence, verbal or otherwise, spread unchecked. And it's not gun laws, Chuck. It's the culture of silencing dissent that brews real resentment. Case in point, Virginia Tech, Turning Point USA event. Megyn Kelly's up there on stage, subbing in for Charlie Kirk, and some unhinged kid storms the Q&A, yelling about how President Trump's rhetoric killed your friend. Kelly handled it like a pro, calm, factual, dismantling the nonsense, but it shows how these activists are groomed to shout down professionals such as Megyn Kelly and the like instead of engage. It's embarrassing and it's everywhere, it seems. Then there's that gut-wrenching story from not too long ago. A husband calls his wife at 4 a.m. She's 23 to 25 weeks pregnant. This is just now happening. I'm seeing it everywhere. She's dosed on Tylenol. For what reason? Not just to abort her baby and, potentially cause serious harm. She's dosed on Tylenol to prove Trump wrong about his autism warnings, about the labels that Tylenol themselves have put out for years. Doctors say she's not going to make it. And it's insane, but insane doesn't even truly cover it. Trump's pushing studies on prenatal exposure risks, legit science debate, but this is deranged. This is lunacy, weaponizing a tragedy against policy, turning a family's nightmare into a TikTok stunt. And she's not the only one. Liberals are flooding social media with mockery of Erica Kirk, too. Videos ridiculing her for forgiving Charlie Kirk's murderer, assassin at the memorial. And she's up there, raw and faithful, channeling Christ's grace. She says the answer to hate is love. And they're laughing at her.
Father, forgive them. So now the thing is to mock how she's grieving and question everything about how her behavior is. For they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him. So we don't like how she's not allowed to grieve how she needs to grieve. She can't show forgiveness. She can't show mercy and grace. I'm seeing people saying that, her makeup was perfect and her nails were freshly done. Yeah, she's Erica Kirk. It was a huge event. I'm sure that there were people around her saying, hey, let me do your nails for you. Hey, let me get you all ready. Hey, let's make you gorgeous for this day. So you can go and remember your husband and celebrate his life. I'm sure there was a lot of people behind that. You don't know how you would grieve in that situation unless you've been in that situation. And I don't think you can even compare it. If you have lost a spouse, I think it's a little different when you have so many people looking at you. She can't just grieve on her own and deal with it the way she needs to. She's having to grieve in the public eye. Show a little respect. Quit being so hateful. Quit judging every move that she makes. It's absurd.
The sickness, folks, is George Soros' cash, TikTok algorithms, and a party that's lost its moral compass. Quick hits on the rest of what's happening, folks. MSNBC's out here twisting itself into a pretzel, claiming that the anti-ICE shooter was influenced by right-wingers because of what he wrote on the bullets. They're melting down over the Comey indictment. And look, this is the same playbook as the Charlie Kirk assassin. Straight up leftist manifestos. Give me a freaking break, okay? It's gaslighting 101. And that HBCU, Tennessee State, I think, story, an underperformer with a 23% grad rate boots out 2 white conservative speakers for daring to show up. I don't know if you I should have included that one. If you want to see that one, let me know and I'll put it in the next one. Is this diversity or thoughts? Nah, this is just an echo chamber, folks. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Then you got over in the North Carolina Senate. This just happened. Ariana's law passes 56% yes. Toughens bail. Pretrial holds that the Ukrainian refugees' brutal stabbing. Breakdown, though. 77.8% of white non-Jewish senators vote yes. 0% of blacks vote. 2 Jewish, 1 Arab, 1 Indian, all vote no. Party lines or deeper divide, you guys let me know. Food for thought, but at the end of the day, it's a win for victims either way. But it's also eye-opening how people feel and how they choose to represent by their voting or not. But man, this is a lot of heavy stuff happening. But we have to have these discussions and conversations. We have to push through some of these videos and clips to have the talks and discussions to really drive the point home and get the message across. We have to spread this. Wake folks up before the infection spreads any further. And the left's fringe, actually, they know how effective we have been and are. And that's why they're getting so radical and so outraged. The left's fringes are feeding off their leaders' words. And there are not many left, but the few that are going to get very, very brazen. And unfortunately, we're the ones paying the price. So stay vigilant, folks. Pray up and let's keep fighting smart. And let me know about what you guys think about Chuck Schumer's demand for $500 million to fund illegals' health care.
Guys, get ready. Say free Palestine. It's a genocide. It's a genocide. Make a line of people up. Don't get physical. I got
Titties. Set the left one. Nothing grows without tits. Titties.
There's a whole lot of growth.
Titties.
And then want us to act the way that he wants us to act. You can't have it both ways. You can't have your fucking cake and eat it too. You know the same thing? And then not giving Palestinians food for 2 fucking years? Right? Fucking white people doing the
We're animals!
And counting!
What about I'm an animal, bitch! I'm an animal, bitch!
You're acting like one.
Tell that to the right! Tell Charlie Kirk he's in my pussy! And Charlie Kirk died of offensive. Charlie Kirk died of offensive. That's what he died of.
That's what they said. That's what they said. That's what they said about George Floyd.
Charlie Kirk, lay off the fence, bitch! Lay off the mother, bitch!
Charlie Kirk has
His system, the autopsy said. That's what the autopsy said.
I don't support what happened October 7th.
Do you support a two-state solution?
What's happening right now?
Do you support a two-state solution?
A two-state solution?
Yes.
I think the Palestinians, if they want their own place,
No, we want our own land.
They already have their own land. Children die.
All right. Are you for us taking all of our land, every fucking inch? Are you for us taking every inch back? Are you for that? Are you for that? Are you for that?
Get the right city.
No. I'm asking.
Get the right city.
Are you for that? Are you for
Get the
that?
right city.
It's simple. Israel came and our family and took our land. That's all it is. Are you against that? Are you for Israel getting their Palestinians back and every Palestinian from around the world returning to the land? Are you for that? Are you for that?
Are you for that? Are you for that? Are you for that?
Come on,
750,000 Palestinians were killed during the Nakba of 1948. We're at over 700,000 Palestinians now again. This is a Nakba 2.2.
Take action to prevent ongoing
Let me say something.
You give a shit about 48 hostages?
All 12,000 Palestinian hostages, including children. Release all 12,000 Palestinian hostages. Release the hundreds of children that are Palestinian hostages. Yes, this happened long before October 7th.
I can't speak
All
on what I don't know.
right, if you're going to be a journalist, know your shit. Know your shit. This shit.
That's the sickness, man. And for now, this is where I leave you. Liberals are now making videos mocking Erica Kirk, praying and forgiving Charlie Kirk's assassin at his Arizona memorial. And they are literally making videos making fun of her for doing the hardest thing in her life, I would imagine, and for giving her husband's murderer. This, folks, is the Democrat Party. We have to do better, folks. Our country is at stake, and the virus is infecting more and more on the left and through social media apps like TikTok and funding from evil people like George Soros. Spread the word, help get the message out. And let's be honest, the left would hate it if this video went viral. Hope you all have a good day. Stay safe, and God bless.